let's see what these are. Start with this package. It feels like it's got almost nothing in it. Prepaid return ticket. Prepaid return ticket. I'll explain this one. This is a bit confusing. Basically, I purchased side panels, just still sitting here actually, because this is my project pile of things to do eventually. And I ordered this one. They sent me this one. It's exactly the same, just the left side versus the right side. So I emailed them and said, hey, you sent me the wrong one. That's like a month ago. No response. 2 weeks after that, like 2 weeks ago, I emailed them again, saying, I haven't heard from you. I'd like that part. And still no communication whatsoever. Now they at least supplied the correct part, but they haven't emailed me or communicated to me in any way whatsoever. And now they want me to send it back to them. Obviously, they want me to send this one back to them. The thing is, I could actually probably use it, to be honest. I'm sure the shipping label cost them more than the actual part was. I suppose I should send it back, shouldn't I? So anyway, these are bits for an oven. So I've got an oven which needs some repairs, and basically on the right hand side, which is what this side of this panel is, which just arrived, there's a little standoff here for the power point which screws into there. It's got like a standard little stud. Just a little standoff. Now these kinds of posts aren't very strong generally, and there's not much in the way of support for when you've got the power point in there. If you put in a plug in, or you put it in slightly wonky, or pull it slightly, it will break that stud off. I mean, this oven's fairly old. It's probably 25 years old. In fact, you can still get parts for it. It's pretty amazing. Yeah, so that stud's broken. I glued the thing back on again, but it's like I wanted to replace the whole panel. And so I got these other parts before, but they sent me the wrong one, as I was saying. So they sent me the correct one now. Yeah, normally what I'd expect to happen is if a supplier sends you the wrong part and it's not worth very much, usually, I've had this in the past, they'll just say, keep that part, it's not worth getting it back and the hassle of restocking it, right? You just keep it. So the fact that they're actually asking me to send this one back is a bit of a pain. There is the inconvenience of me not being able to do the job I wanted to do. I had all this lined up. Day allocated, I was going to pull this oven apart, do video about it, everything. I was going to video repair. And so that's been delayed. So the inconvenience of me not getting the right part is there. That sort of things, you know, the suppliers will say, oh, just keep it, it's not worth it. Yeah, okay, I can send it back, but it hasn't cost me anything apart from a little bit of disruption. It did cost me time to email them, I suppose, twice to say, hey, you guys are screwed up. And it's not this Smiths. I don't know if they're the manufacturer or another supplier or what, but it wasn't from them. It's from a different company. But, yeah, I don't know what to do about that. You could say, oh, well, they do own that part. I should give it back. But then, I was expecting to be able to keep it. Moral decisions. Do I do the right thing and send it back? Or do I just go, sod ya, you screwed up, I'm keeping it. I don't know. Well, next box. This one's got decent tape on it. Actually, I'm going to have to use a proper knife for this. Decent packaging. Excellent. Now, I think there's more than one thing in here wrapped up. Yes, there is. I'm going to check every single piece of paper. These are some car parts. Ugh, noisy. Okay, these are some car parts. So you've got some clips here. So you've got some hose clips. And the hose is supposed to go on. Let's just visually look at it before I take it out of the bag, make sure it looks about right. Excellent. Excellent, that looks okay. That looks visually about right. So this is for one of the cars, obviously because it's car parts. Now I had the engine replaced because, well, basically it blew up. I had the engine replaced, but it's with a used one. This particular hose on it, which is the air intake hose, I don't know if the one that's on there now came with that engine, or whether it's the original one. I honestly don't know. But it's really rigid, and what's happening is, because of it being rigid and being old, the plastic shrunk a bit, and it's basically more like hard plastic rather than flexible plastic. And where the airbox is right here, with the air filter and stuff in. It's also got the MAF there, the mass airflow sensor, right here on the outlet of the airbox, which then goes into this. And because this is all gone rigid, and this is mounted on the engine, when the engine's rocking and stuff, it's moving, and it's basically just pulling this off the airbox, and it's causing issues with the engine running, because it pulls it off, then it can't sense the airflow properly into the engine, and it won't idle. It's been sort of bodged to make it work, but I thought I'd try and get a replacement hose for it instead, because this car is from, I think it's 2007 or 2006, something like that. It's a fairly older vehicle. But it's a nice vehicle, it drives really nicely, it's really comfortable and that sort of stuff. It's worth fixing it. Yeah, it's worth doing, but it's got a bracket there, it's got an outlet hose here. It goes, I think it's to the crankcase, is it? Maybe? For vacuum. Hopefully, it's the right one. I mean, that's the part number. In fact, the hose is nice and flexible, is a good sign. I'll probably waffle about this way too much. This box here, which has got a few things in it, I think, but I feel of it. Yeah, there is. You've got a cable, USB-C to barrel jack, USB-C to C, the charger, double wrap. Okay, so this is some stuff from FNIRSI. They sent me some stuff to review. So, what's this one? This is the HSO2 soldering iron. USB-C powered, so we've got to do a review on that. And we've got this thing, handheld LCR meter, sent me that as well, nice. Again, review on this thing. And this, which looks interesting. AC/DC intelligent digital control power supply. FNIRSI power supply. And it's got USB A and C on the front panel here. Okay, let's open this one up because it's not a sealed box. Yeah, but there might be another box inside it. There we go. Come here. It's the IPS 3608. So it's got bananas on the front here. Standard size. Let's have a quick look. Spacing feels about right. Yep, spacing's good. That's good. Standard size. That's a good start. So I'll be doing a full review on this thing. So watch out for that review as well. Okay. Batteries, CR1620. I needed these because I needed to replace a remote control battery in like a car remote. And they give you a little mini screwdriver, I guess this is a gift. Because I didn't buy this. Little mini keyring screwdriver. I mean, that's alright. Those of you who ain't got anything like that, could be useful. Don't know what it's going to be, but, you know. Nice little gift, I suppose. It's got some O-rings on there to help lock it on. I think what's more likely to happen is it'll work loose and fall off and you end up with nothing but this piece attached to your keyring. You know, just that bit there will end up all you have left. All these little rings they have, these often open up. Don't take much to open these. Focus. So this little gap there doesn't take much. Get a little bit of a pull, see it's opening there. Maybe you can see it. But what I actually tend to do is I will, if it's something I care about, is I'll close this up, make them in line together, put them in line so there's no snaggy bits, and then I'll solder them shut. I'll actually solder it, and that actually works. So it's a little tip for you if you get the key rings which might fall off. I've been waiting for these for weeks. Of course I could have bought them locally, but these are cheaper. If I didn't say it before, I'll say it now. The links down below for these things too. I'll give you links, they'll be down there in the description. These weren't very well protected. Last time I had these sorts of things and they weren't very well protected, they tended to arrive squashed. Can I open this one to make sure? I had one of these before and it's actually like been run over by a truck or something. It's like squashed right down. So this is 12mm white and clear tape. So I actually got this for something I was working on. What was that? There's something I was working on. I was thinking white on clear would be useful because then I can have white on top of the background. I'm trying to think what it was now I was working on. Oh, I know what it was. It was one of those resistance standards. Those decade resistors. They had white dials. And I was thinking of that for that situation. I was able to restore that one, but I thought that could be useful. And let's actually open this one up too, because why not? So this one is yellow, black on yellow tape. Thought yellow might be a nice one to have, in case I need to highlight something. I suppose I should leave this on here, in case I forget. The warning about how to use it. Something slightly bigger. I think I know what's in here, at least based on the size. It's a manual. Now, did it survive the trip? Now, when I purchased this, I said sandwich it in cardboard so it doesn't get damaged. Well, the ring binder's all knackered, but it's all been squashed. So, one piece of cardboard, a token piece of cardboard on one side. Yeah, no, that's not good enough. I said sandwich it in cardboard, so it should be completely surrounded. Stop it from being bent and twisted and having corners messed up. At least the corners are okay, but the actual binder spiralling is knackered. I can probably straighten it up. Keithley 228 manual. So I actually have one of these already. I did a video about it a while ago. Fixed it up. I haven't actually used it since I did that video, but it's in the drawer out in the other lab there. I saw this manual there on eBay. I thought, right, I'm going to get that whilst I can. It's got some damage to this too, look. See? Exactly why I wanted it. It's pushed right into the paper there. Into a few pages, look. Still there. Still on the diagram, still see it. This is why I wanted them to sandwich it. So I'm going to actually stick a claim on eBay about that, I think. Damage. Spiral binding. All mounted. Right. But it's full diagrams. Hopefully. Board layouts and what have you. Obviously you get electronic manuals, and I've got an electronic version for it, but sometimes you want the physical manual because the diagrams are usually significantly better than the scanned ones you can find online. And if there's like a manual where, say, you can't find a version at all online, and I can get a copy of one, then I will actually scan it in and make it available like KO44BB or XDevs or something like that. Maybe archive it all. I've used that a couple of times now as well. Yeah, if I get a manual, I can scan it. I've got that CZUR book scanner thing. I did a review on that a while ago. It's the 18 series, not the 24 series. Would have liked the 24 series. Maybe CZUR could send me one in future if they see this video. Nice manual, original manual. This is version, I don't know, from 1984 anyway. Yeah. Vision D, there we go. Thought I saw it somewhere. Vision D. I don't know how this applies to my actual unit. I'm not sure which year my one was. I've forgotten. Going to raise a small dispute about the damage because they didn't actually do what I told them to do. Anyway. So, other videos to watch down below there. All Mailbag videos, that kind of thing. Just go over there if you're not already subscribed and you like these sorts of things. And there's a Patreon support link over there if you want to help support me on Patreon. Help me to buy things like pieces of test gear and things like that to do videos about and fixing them. Which is what my main passion is. Fixing pieces of broken test gear. So that's getting more and more expensive every week. Catch you later.